model as your home, the Wimbrel, except it's flipped. So like,
the garage on this side.
Well, yes. You have a left-handed elevation home, so your garage is on the left-hand side.
Okay.
And everything would be like reversed.
Right.
Okay.
But it is a Wimbrel model. It's just a right-handed, elevation.
Okay.
I believe you have a bigger porch too. So
Yeah, it is. It is.
So just a little bit on the exterior. Some things that are different in this community is the moisture barrier that we use.
Okay.
We use what's called this ox T-ply. You see the gray thermoply?
Yeah.
So that's like the underlayment. In other communities, you would see like a sheet of OSB with a house wrap around it.
Right.
We, in this community, use what's called thermoply. It's a great material. Some of the benefits are that it's lightweight, flexible, it's durable, and
for water.
it doesn't rot. Exactly.
Okay,
So less potential to be able to rot.
Okay.
Some of the things that we look for a T-ply install is, number one, that it covers the concrete slab.
Okay.
So it covers the foundation. We want water to run off of that thermoply onto, away from the slab. And also that, every penetration is sealed with tape. And we're checking our nailing patterns. Just making sure that they're not too far spaced apart. And that, all of our seams are taped. A little bit difficult to see just because we just got siding on. But the things that we're looking for is our nailing pattern that covers the slab, that everything is taped and sealed. General idea for us as construction managers, PCS-wise, Pulte Construction Standards, water intrusion is the worst factor. We want to shed water away from the home.
Right.
We want it to go away from the home, and not only that, but like we want our land to be graded so that water flows away from the home. We don't want anything pooling up, or sitting water, anything like that.
Right.
Our siding material, it's a very durable material called Hardy siding.
Old last name.
Oh, really?
Hardy, yeah.
Oh my God. Hardy siding, it's a mixture of, it's kind of made out of a concrete material. So it does have the potential to expand and contract with the seasons and with the temperature. So one thing that we're looking for, so we have a little bit of a gap in the corners. These will be caulked and painted just to seal them up. But because that cement material has the tendency to expand and contract, we just want to leave a little bit of gap right here on our corners and edges. They will be sealed. You see this black primer. We ask that our siding guys, every time they cut this material, to prime the edges. Basically, if they do not, if they don't prime it, we lose that 50-year warranty on the siding. Ooh. So the product itself has a 50-year warranty, but you lose that warranty if our guys don't prime the edges once they cut it.
Right.
The sheets that you see, the siding material, they come primed on the edges, pre-manufactured, but they have to cut them to fit, their spacing. So we ask that they, keep a can of primer on them and prime every single cut. You'll see this little piece of metal. It's called our Z flashing. It basically lips up under this last piece of siding, and it's going to basically form a deflection of water over our brick install. So like brick's gonna go under here. Right. You'll see,
like that
brick.
there.
It's just gonna be like ankle high in this community.
Okay.
But this flashing allows, if water were to get behind here, it runs off the T-ply onto the Z flashing and over the brick. And as you walk around, you'll see the brick is also sloped away from the home. So that's kind of some of the things that we're looking for to shed water off the outside of the home.
Yeah, so none will get molded and all that stuff.
Right.
garage.
So let's start with the foundation. You know, that's kind of what we build on top of, right? So it's very important that we do our checks and balances before we even get to the framing stage.
Right.
You'll notice these cuts in the concrete all throughout the home.
Okay.
These are here, they're called control joints.
Okay.
So basically concrete by nature has the tendency to crack. It's going to crack. So that's just what concrete does. Our scientists haven't figured out a way to not make concrete
Right.
crack. These control joints are in place every 10 by 10 squares to prevent the spread of cracks.
Okay.
So you can imagine our slab depth is about 5 inches, and we want our cuts to be about 1/4 of that. So we're looking at, you know, probably an inch in depth for these cuts, just to, you know, control the cracks.
Right.
Let's see.
That's good. Don't gotta worry about that.
You'll see some. If you were to walk down there, we have some what we call slabs being boxed. You'll see the wood formed cutouts. Basically, I should have led with this. In our Pulte homes, the majority of the load or the weight of the home is going to be on the external walls.
Okay.
So when we talk about load-bearing walls, they're usually going to be on the outside or exterior walls.
Okay.
So because the load is on the exterior walls, we will dig a foot trench around this slab surface underground and put rebar, you know, down in the trench to just strengthen it. So you have more concrete on the edges and you have more rebar on the edges.
Right.
The weight of the home is going to be on the outside.
Okay.
For the most part.
Well, it's real strong and thick.
So right, so the majority of the concrete, you know, it's flat right here, but you got trenches of concrete underneath.
Right.
With rebar. So,
what's the wall made out of? I don't know, it's different size. What's the wall?
oh, okay. So this is like the inside of the T-ply.
Okay.
We're not going to insulate this wall because this garage isn't a living space.
Okay.
Right.
So we're going to insulate that wall because you're living on the other
Side of the wall.
So
Yeah.
we want to insulate that wall because that's a conditioned space.
Right.
The garage is unconditioned, so there's no need to insulate.
Okay.
Some people choose to. You know, we're going to insulate this ceiling because you're going to live on the other side of the ceiling. But nobody's living in this area, so we don't insulate this wall.
Okay. Oh.
If you walk around, you'll see these little bolts in the bottom plate. These are called anchor bolts. They are probably 6 to 7 inches long, anchored into the slab. So anchored in the top plate, or I'm sorry, the bottom plate into the slab. They're just drilled in, locking it in place. Generally speaking, when you have a house that's going to have high winds, the house naturally wants to lift itself upward.
Right.
So, we know that, and we are going to basically anchor it to the slab.
Okay.
So that your house isn't going to go anywhere.
Exactly. Steady.
Another precaution as well. You see these straps right here. It's basically strapping this bottom 2x4 to this massive LVL. This is probably the most expensive piece of lumber on the house. It's carrying a lot of weight. And we strap them all together up to the top plate. Basically ensuring that if you were to hit this with a car or anything, you're not going to bring the house down.
Right.
So we strap everything together, nailing each hole.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Cause you, huh?
I'm not a driver.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She'll fly straight through.
Let's see. This little material that you'll see around the garage. This is called seal. Basically, it's a way to help with energy efficiency and carbon monoxide fumes from getting in the house.
Wow.
She left in the
So
car.
you see that around the edge of the garage.
Okay.
That's a big plus.
Right here, this piece of rebar, this is called a Ufer ground rod. It's basically a lightning rod. So if the house is struck by lightning, all that electricity is going to go into this rod and into that rebar around the edge. Basically dissipating any electricity from, frying your electronics.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We had that bad storm. It knocked out the TV,
Right.
his PlayStation,
The garage.
Right.
All that.
So yeah.
So this is kind of our lightning strike protector
Okay.
in the garage.
Well, at least you
You'll
play your
see it right
game.
here, but that's what that's there for. It's got to work. As we walk throughout the home, this one really doesn't. It's not necessary, but you'll see all of the outlets are foamed behind the outlets. Just because you can't really insulate behind them. We're not going to insulate this wall, but you'll see foam behind every single electrical outlet in the house. And anytime we have wires going through the roof or through the ceiling, they're also going to foam those holes that they had to drill.
Okay.
We want to separate conditioned air from unconditioned air.
Right.
So we don't want any leaks going into the home. We're trying to build it as tight as possible and help you out on that AC.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it is.
So this is your electrical panel. Everything's going to be labeled for you.
Okay.
We're probably going to talk more about this during your pre-walk, but we're just in the rough stages right now. And we're about to go into drywall at this stage.
Okay.
This will be where your water heater is as well. So, we'll talk about the water heater when we get to the pre-walk.
Right,
But we're just
okay.
doing a rough walk right now. This shear wall, it backs up through the other side of the house. Same thing with like the hardy siding. This has the tendency to expand and contract just like the hardy siding.
Okay.
We want to leave a 1/8 inch gap between each board, just because we want to give it some breathing room.
Exactly.
Just want to make sure that it's not too tight and it doesn't bow out, because it has the tendency when it's too tight to bow out when you change seasons and temperatures and things like that.
Okay.
And you'll see a lot of pink paint in these houses. That's Pulte construction standards. That's how our bosses know that we came in and checked this out.
Okay,
and
it
we
did a
did.
good job.
So you'll see pink dots all over the place. Just letting everyone know that we come in and walk the house and look for, what we've been trained to look for. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about a window install. These are Ply-Gem windows. They're double pane. That means that they're insulated. All right, helping out with energy costs.
Calm down.
They pop right out in case you wanted to clean them.
Okay.
Want to make sure that they're sealed in tight with this expansion foam. So they'll knock these in and actually put this foam in there. We don't want to leave any gaps for the outside air to come through the window. Let's see. On the bottom, we're going to see this stretch tape. This is a cool tape just because you don't have to cut the tape to make it flush. You can actually wrap it around at a 90-degree angle without having to cut that tape.
All right.
So when you cut that tape, basically you're creating a trench for water to settle, right? And then, on the bottom, we're going to have our caulk. We use a very specific caulk. It's called a C920 Class 25 caulk. And basically, the way that we know that our trades are using the correct caulk is a taste test.
Oh.
No. We have to make sure that they're using the right caulk, and basically the only way you're gonna know is you gotta find one of the tubes that they're using.
Right.
So let's see, that's pretty good on windows. You'll notice these nail plates all throughout. That's basically protecting your electrical wires for when drywall goes in. You know, they're screwing nails in everywhere. We don't want them to hit the electrical wire behind this. So
Right.
there's a wire. It's being protected by this nail plate. Generally, we like to see them on every stud or every wire, but technically you only need them when they're like on the front end of the stud. So we ask, you know, for 1.25 inches before they use a nail plate.
Okay.
It's an extra precaution. You don't have to use it on every stud.
Right.
But when it is on the front end or within that inch, it needs a nail plate to protect the wire.
Alrighty.
It's so weird when it's like this.
I know, it's so cool to come in the rough stage and then you'll go to your house and be like, wow.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just totally different.
This how my basement was at my old house, the house I'm in now. This how my basement was nothing done.
Okay.
We got everything finished.
Cool. So if we talk a little bit about insulation, you will see on here it's got a little print on there. We use R13 batt insulation. You know, that's our standard stuff that we're going to see in every home. When we check our insulation, basically we want to see that they are splicing it on each side of the wire. It's kind of hard to see from there, but I know there's a wire here because there's a nail plate.
Right.
So we just want to make sure that there's insulation on the back side of this wire and on the front. Just because if they don't put it on the back and split that insulation, you're going to have a little air gap and you're losing your insulation value.
Right.
So we want to make sure that it's on both sides of the wires. We ask that here's an outlet. We want to ask that they kind of cut out a little ring for the outlet.
Right.
Just because we don't want them to compress it behind or around. We want them to cut it out and keep the insulation fluffy. When you compress the insulation really tight, you're losing your R value, your insulation value.
It can start a fire.
And you know, that fire foam is there as well, just because we can't really insulate behind it. So we're just eliminating an air gap.
Right.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright.
And even in the corners, you know, we foam these little corners as well. And you'll see them probably more on the second story. But this is the flex room, right?
Yeah.
If you kind of look around, you don't see a light in here. So there is no overhead light in the flex room when you first walk in.
Yeah.
This outlet right here will be called a switch receptacle. So it's going to have like an upside down plug, and you'll basically plug in a lamp and control it from right there.
So like a switch.
From that switch.
Yeah.
So,
That's how our sitting room is.
right. So no overhead light, but that light does control like a lamp if you put it right here.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, because I noticed that there wasn't no light in there.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right in that first flex room. Something that I like to just put in your mind if you wanted to do remodeling or of any kind. You have the option to knock this. This will be drywall, right? You have the option to knock this out and have a little bit of extra storage.
Right.
So that's all dead space. This piece is actually not even structural. It's only here so that they can nail in drywall.
Right.
So, you know, if you wanted to go the remodeling route, some people like to make a little kid room or a dog room.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just extra storage.
I'll be saying that.
Cool. Walking into the kitchen, you'll have that kitchen island right here. This is the electrical conduit that's run underground. And basically it provides power to the kitchen island. So that there's no cords running all over the floor. We just put power inside the island. So you'll have your stove, kitchen sink, and then refrigerator will go right here. All right. Let's see. Nice open floor. I mean, This will have the most bedroom space in this community, this model. So, definitely the most spacious floor plan.
Okay. What's this, a 3-bedroom?
I believe it's 5. So 1,
5.
and then 4 upstairs. So
okay.
one down here, and then 4 upstairs.
Oh yeah, you did some good.
Alright. So in every room, and also in the living room right here, when we look at these electrical lights, this outlet right here, we actually pre-wire it for a fan. So, you'll notice in your house at closing, one of these light switches doesn't do anything at all.
Right.
So we put this little support bracket here in case you wanted to install a fan after closing. This can support the weight of a fan, and it's also already pre-wired to the outlet or the switch, just so you can wire it up the fan right here. It's already connected, and it's got the support bracket for it.
Okay, cool.
So when we go through our house, if we want to add a fan, do it costs or?
Yeah, so that'll be like an after closing thing.
Okay.
Like an option that you can do after closing.
Right.
Like it's not. You will not find a fan that we offer as like an option in this community.
Okay.
Right. Cool.
Alright.
I might want to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I don't have one, but I love an overhead fan, especially in the bed.
Yeah. 4 bathrooms.
This is just the downstairs kind of guest bedroom. It's got a fan as well.
Oh wait, so none of the rooms have fans?
Correct. No, ma'am.
Dang.
No rooms have fans in this community.
Can we take it there?
Might need to put. I want to put. I'm in our room for sure.
Yeah.
So this will be kind of where your smoke detector is. There's one in each room and in each gathering room. So any rooms that can join, you have a smoke detector in every room. Let's see. We'll probably be able to talk more about HVAC and like the ductwork upstairs. But I did want to point out that this one that you see right here, this is actually called a jumper duct.
Okay.
So you will notice that it doesn't run to the AC unit. It's not a supply or a return. That's only here so that the pressure in the room can even out. So that this door isn't too hard to close. So like
the air
basically we
push it out this way.
Yeah, we can keep air flowing out in and out of the room without there being too much pressure. Like you'll feel like a gust of wind or like some resistance trying to close the door.
Yeah, I get it. I see it.
I like this. Never did this before. Here.
4 bathroom.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Excuse me. So we talked about a tub install. Basically, before this tub even goes in, because this is on an exterior wall and it's got that pink batt insulation, we put this material, this moisture barrier. It's similar to the T-ply. We put it up just because it's on the external wall, and it's a wet area, right? This is a wet area. We don't want, for any reason that batt insulation behind it to get wet. Okay. So we put up a little barrier because we're protecting the batt insulation on the other side.
Moist and
right. We don't want moisture to get on the batt insulation just because it's a wet area. So the tub install, these are just pre-manufactured tubs that our plumbers supply. Basically, we're just looking that they use what's called panhead stainless steel screws, and just that they're non-corrosive. We don't want to have rusty nails in a wet area, so that's a big thing. And just making sure it's sealed tight with this tape is the big thing before it goes into drywall. Before we drywall it.
Right.
The plumbing.
Right. So like this tape is just like sealing up the tub, making sure that water can't get behind this material.
Okay.
All right. So you'll have the toilet right here. just a little bit about, you know, plumbing in general for us. We use what's called PEX piping. They're, you know, German engineered PEX piping. Super flexible, but also very strong.
Right.
You know, we're just making sure that they are held in with these brackets, and our plumbers will kind of connect everything once we get a little bit further in the stage, and they come and set the toilet, set the sink. But we're just, you know, making sure that, again, they use a nail plate right here to protect that pipe, and you know, they're securing their pipes in the wall, protecting them with nail plates as well.
Right.
So, all right.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Good stuff.
All those plumbing and stuff.
Let's see. You'll see this, maybe it's coming from the garage. Probably not the best time to talk about it, but it's this orange tube. It's called the Internet Smart Tube. Probably can't see it from right here. You guys have a different kind of stairs and have different kind of stairs in your home. You have basically carpet stairs, right?
Right.
These are the oak tread stairs. But basically we put this material right here to you know, protect it from moisture on the slab. So like before it rains or whatever, before we had the roof, we don't want water to be sitting on this oak tread, because these are untreated, but you'll notice that like the bottom plates that are on the slab kind of have that green tint to them. So those are pressure treated and they can withstand water.
Okay.
Oh.
So those are okay to have on the slab. These are not. We got to protect them.
Right.
When you walk up, you're gonna walk basically. It's just flip.
Yeah.
Same model, but you know, flip. We're just opening up the windows to get some air in here.
It looks weird.
It can get
Oh my God.
it can get pretty
This is so
pretty
pretty.
buggy.
All of this is in the ceiling?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
So same thing with like the shear wall downstairs. When we talk about the subfloors, just want to make sure that there is a little bit of a gap for some breathing room. In this community, we upgrade to screws for the subfloors instead of just nails.
Okay.
We pay a PO. We basically pay an upgraded charge to have our floors screwed in instead of nailed.
Right.
Just because it helps with floor squeaks, you know.
Better protection.
Yeah. Nobody likes floor squeaks, so
Yeah.
we figure eliminate them now
Yeah.
before we get further. You'll see these egg carton looking things on the roof line all over the place. Basically, that's ensuring that you have a little bit of an air gap going up to the roof line.
Okay.
So you'll see we have this insulation, and once we put drywall up, another company comes in and puts what's called blown insulation in the attic. So they come in with a big old truck to the attic access point and blow insulation. It looks like cotton candy. You know, it's a different kind of insulation for this, but it sits on the ceiling, if you can imagine.
Okay.
And you'll see, you know, these rulers every 300 square foot, just so, you know, our insulation company can blow it to the correct depth.
Right.
And we want to make sure that those rulers are facing the attic access point over there. That's where they're going to run that giant hose and put blown insulation all in the attic.
Right.
Okay. So this is
your furnace. So
we got what's in the garage?
that was your water heater and your electrical panel.
Okay.
In this community, we put the furnace in the closet just because we don't want you to have to go to the attic to change your air filter.
Right.
You can change your air filter right here in the closet. It's a lot easier.
Right.
Just because in this community we don't have like a pull down ladder for the attic access point. You're actually gonna have, you know, like a little drywall cutout, called a scuttle hole.
Okay.
And you'll have to have your own ladder to kind of get up there.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. At our house, we got the
We got a ladder.
Yeah, you
Okay.
pull it down and you can walk up the steps.
Right.
But this gonna be your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta have your own ladder to get in the attic here. But there is a little 10 by 12 platform up there for a little bit extra storage that you can see.
Oh.
You know, and you know we put a light up there, but you do have a little bit of storage in the attic. Not much, but
Oh, so we got an attic.
yeah.
Cool.
You have an attic. We just don't make it, you know, necessary for you to go up there and full with your furnace.
Right.
We put it in the closet.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. So we just all them papers and stuff. You know, right up there, Christmas stuff.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Just when we talk, what some of the things that I'm looking for in a HVAC system when I'm checking. Number one, where applicable, you're not gonna have it 100% every time, but we want to avoid the HVAC ducts from touching. When the ducts touch each other, they have the potential to create moisture and technically like sweat, or not technically, but you can imagine that condensation will build up and the ducts would sweat. Therefore, you have moisture building up, dropping onto the blown insulation, and eventually seeping through that onto the drywall, and you'll see a little drywall spot form.
Right.
So at this stage, I'm looking to see that the ducts, number one, don't touch, and number two, that the ducts are not too close to the roof line. We want to maintain at least a minimum 6-inch gap for the ducts from the roof line, just because it gets so hot on the roof line. We don't want to overwork the system or try to compensate for that.
Very cautious with a lot of stuff. I like that. Like I said, we never been on nothing like this before, so it's real good.
Yeah, it's good information.
Learn.
Just good information about just the why behind things.
Right.
You know, why things are
Y'all
the way
very
they are.
cautious. I like that.
Let's see. So we talked about HVAC. This is another jumper duct, just keeping the pressure in the room. You know, allowing air to escape.
Right.
Let's see.
Figure it out.
These roof trusses are pre-manufactured. When they come in and install these roof trusses, you know, they bring a giant crane over, they hoist them over, and you see, you know, the framers nailing them in. Some of the things I'm looking for with the roof truss is that, number one, they're using the correct nails.
Right.
You'll see, like, this is two what's called a girder truss, but it's basically two boards formed together to support the weight of all these trusses.
Right.
Basically, I'm making sure that they're using 3.5-inch nails so that we can get the most grip on both of those, you know, 2x6s, and just providing the most strength that it can.
Right.
And I'm also making sure that there is not too much of a gap, if not flush with these feet right here, just because, you know, you're losing the strength the further you get out from that. It's called a Simpson hanger. So just want to make sure that it's tight, almost flush with the girder truss.
Right there.
That's good. Okay.
Internet smart home. So the low
Also, we
voltage.
do got a smart home.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, this is just basically the Wi-Fi box.
Yeah.
Basically, you can. Your Wi-Fi box will be right here. Your home security system will be right here if you choose to do that.
Okay.
But this is where all the Wi-Fi will kind of be.
Okay.
It'll be walled off. We talked a little bit about this Internet Smart Tube. This runs all the way through the floors of the house and out to the exterior, just so that your internet company, when you choose an internet company, they can come and run their cables through this tube from the outside.
Much better, yeah.
So
Way easy on them.
Yeah.
right. So it just makes it easier. They don't have to do any modifications or like bust up any drywall,
Right,
anything
right.
like that. We create a channel for the internet company to run their tubes up here, or run their cables up here. This is where the dryer will go. You have the dryer that will run, and we just create a little exhaust pipe for it that runs out the outside of the home. And then this is where the washer will go, hot and cold valve, and it'll all eventually drain out, to your sewer cleaner.
Okay.
This is just a safety feature in case of an overflow. You have like a laundry pan that will fill it first, but it'll also drain out this if there's ever an emergency.
Okay.
But shouldn't have any issues. This is kind of the HVAC condensation line. That's where the AC unit will kind of drip from all the way over there at the furnace, and it runs over here and eventually drips out into the laundry line.
Okay. They want to do it.
And here we are in the owner suite. If you can imagine, this is the most spacious room, the most spacious closet, magnificent bathroom in there, shower, double sinks. This is a perfect home.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Excuse me.
It is.
Oh, perfect. I think the king can fit in here.
Yeah, Caine's the way to go.
We got a king, so I'm like,
Oh
can
yeah.
our bed fit? It can fit.
Oh yeah, Caine is that's just the way to go. But yeah, I mean, any questions for me? I've kind of touched on a lot of it's a lot of information. I mean, I know that was a lot thrown at you.
Yeah.
Some good education, cause
yeah.
we wanted to learn about the house.
We'll quiz you next week.
I don't remember all the big words.
Right.
I got the video. I got the video.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, any questions for me?
I love the windows. I love the no mold, the moisture, all that's taken care of. I love all that.
I did forget one thing. This is your HVAC line set. Typically, I try to tell homeowners to be careful, be wary of nailing picture frames or anything like that through here, just because that's your AC line,
Right.
and we don't want you to puncture it and have a bigger problem like, hey man, my AC doesn't work. So
Yeah. We use tacks and all that.
yeah,
Tacks
that's
not that
probably
bad.
better. I mean,
yeah. They don't go through that far.
we don't see it often, but it's something that could happen. I mean, I'd probably just give yourself at least 32 inches
Right.
off the wall. But that would be probably for your downstairs guest bedroom. Same thing, it's right underneath us.
Right.
That line is running right up here where the AC unit is downstairs on the outside.
Okay.
So just be wary that that line is going to be right there.
All right.
In that area.
That's it in the master, right? The master in the.
The master and the downstairs guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, son.
Okay.
I love the windows. You can pull them out and clean them.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all coming out. I hope you took something away from it.
Yes.
It's cool to see it before it goes to the drywall.
Right.
And this is your home before it becomes a home. Very cool. Very cool.
And I love that we got this space in here.
Oh yeah.
No, you're not a baby. Stop. Be good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The black one.
Man,
Them
step
smoke
on it.
detectors or them just
Yes. So
everywhere the black said that smoke detectors.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, at this stage, all of our inspections should be done. Framing. You know, we have an MEP inspection, which is that's like mechanicals. So basically electrical, plumbing, and low voltage, and HVAC. So we've had a mechanical inspection, we've had an insulation inspection, a framing inspection, and this is, once we have everything, all our ducks in a row, we can order drywall and get into the second phase of the home.
Okay.
Are you done? Are you done? Okay.
Alrighty.
But yeah, this is exciting stuff.
It is.
You know, it's a great community. We've got a lot of resources, a lot of help. I'm one of 3 construction managers in here. I don't know if Lee will be working with. And you'll meet Mr. Lucas, our customer care manager. He's our warranty guy.
Okay.
So that's what the next meeting is kind of about. It's your pre-walk.
Okay.
We will, give ourselves 1 week before closing just to make sure it's all buttoned up, and you're 100% satisfied with the home.
Okay.
That's kind of what that goal is about. That meeting is for us to teach you about the warranty, what's covered, what's not covered, what you can do to void a warranty, and for me to teach you about the home.
Alrighty.
What to do, how to maintain it, because when we become homeowners, there's maintenance involved.
Yeah.
So just things that, we're going to go and teach you about the home and make sure that you're 100% satisfied with it before closing.
Okay.
That's kind of what that meeting's about. And y'all, let me know if you have any questions.
Alright.
If you watch a video and something that didn't make sense, just text me.
Alright.
Text or call.
Thank
Okay.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Appreciate the time.
Y'all little neighborhood.
Probably while with y'all, I think I left my phone in the truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to storm too.
Good, because this neighborhood doesn't have irrigation in it, so you're looking at the guy who waters the grass.
Right.
I appreciate rain when it comes.
Yeah.